Hare Krishna, Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine, Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine, Nirvishesha Shunnavadi Paschatta Deshatarine, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, the world situation is becoming more and more critical. Like the first 100,000 people got, in order for 100,000 people to get affected by coronavirus, it took them 68 days. It took this world 68 days to get 100,000 people to be affected. For next 100,000 people to get affected, it took 11 days. The next 100,000, it took about 4 days. The next 100,000, 2 days. And now it reached about 800,000, and every day about 100,000 people are getting affected, and as you can see, the number is increasing. So probably in a few days it will be 200,000 a day. But the fortunate thing is that not many people are getting affected, not many people are dying. The death rate is highest in Italy, is about 10%. Spain, I think, next to that is 9%. In China, it was 3.4%. In America, where 164,000 people got affected, but there the death rate is 2%. So the point is not many people are dying. People are dying, but it could have been much worse. But still there is such a turmoil all over the world, and that's the fortunate thing. Not many people are dying out of this. It is not so fatal. Like other diseases were very fatal. This epidemic generally claimed 20 to 40%, sometimes even more than 40% death. Of course, those days, the hygiene and medical system, etc., was not so advanced. Today, probably because of the ventilator, the death rate has come down quite a lot, because you see, this disease actually affects the lungs, and it cripples the function of the lungs, and as a result of that, the lungs cannot breathe. Lungs cannot take oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide. And as a result of that, people suffocate and die. But the ventilator actually pushes, although the lungs by itself cannot breathe, but ventilator is pushing the oxygen. So this is how people are kept alive. And then most of them, or many of them, develop the internal resistance, and they get cured. Many people have come out of ventilator and they're getting better. If I'm not mistaken, the cure rate is about 15%, I think, the cure rate. If 100 people get it, those who are fatally affected, those who are being taken to the hospital, a good number of them are actually getting cured. Anyway, so although it is causing a lot of chaos and concern all over the world, although many people are getting affected by this virus, coronavirus, but it is not really that fatal. Not many people are dying. It's not claiming that many lives. It could have been much worse. And let us see what happens, and we hope that the world will be able to overcome this difficulty. And as I mentioned earlier, that how can we expect that such a thing won't happen? Because people are becoming so sinful nowadays. People are becoming so sinful. Everywhere meat eating is going on, intoxication became so rampant, prostitution became so rampant, gambling has become so rampant. So how can we expect that there won't be any reaction? So now the reaction is coming, and hopefully people will realize that sinful activities cause this kind of situation. So abstain from sinful activities. And it's not very difficult, like to give up these sinful activities actually make our life so much better. We give up sinful activities, you give up meat eating, intoxication, illicit sex, gambling. We lead a very healthy and happy life. Good health brings happiness. But due to the sinful activities, they're losing their health, they're losing vitality. Meat eating is causing so many diseases. And now they're admitting that all these epidemics are happening due to meat eating. And we can see the meat eating has reached such an abominable level in some places. They're eating bats, monkeys, snakes, like other human beings or other rakshasas. Who knows whether they are not meeting human beings? Rakshasas are man-eaters, cannibals. Now when people are so much into eating all kinds of what they call exotic meat, then why they won't spare human flesh? Probably they don't sell in the market, but behind this visible world, what they're doing, nobody knows. So we can see this world has become full of rakshasas. And now they're afraid that they're going to die. And the devotees are also getting affected. Devotees are becoming affected because whatever happens in the world, we will be also affected by the surrounding, we will be affected by the environment. So the world is recognizing that all these kind of diseases are coming from eating meat, but not a single disease develops from vegetables. That shows vegetarian life is such a healthy way to live. In America, just from one drug, I forgot the name, it was developed by China and it is being smuggled into America. And just from one drug last year, 74,000 youth died. These drugs were consumed by the youth and 74,000 people died. And they're young ones, youth. And 6 years of Vietnam War, the total death of American was 46,000. In a war, America lost 46,000 youth, and through this drug, in 1 year, America lost 74,000 youth. But still they don't wake up. For the sake of making money, they're destroying the whole human society. People are dying. From prostitution also, all kinds of diseases developing, like AIDS and all kinds of disease. So why not give them up? Give up this sinful life and surrender unto Krishna. You'll see how prosperous, how joyful your life will become, and how beautiful the world will become. But for that we need a powerful king, powerful leader. A leader who won't hesitate to give death sentence to the drug smugglers, meat eaters. But they can't do that. Because the democratic system, the leaders have to wait for people's vote. And if they're afraid, if they take a very strong action, then they won't get the vote. So they would sacrifice the whole human civilization. They will destroy the whole nation just to get into the power. That's why they can't really rule properly. Because they're weaklings. Whereas a king is powerful. That's why he's a king. If he was not powerful, then somebody else will come and take the kingdom away from him. So he has to be powerful, and the most powerful ones are ruling. And they don't care, but they're guided. Proper kings are guided by the brahmanas, wise ministers. They advise them what to do, what not to do. And this guidance comes from the wise saintly personalities who knew the science of Vedas. Like they could guide, for example, we see how effective astrology is. I heard last year one 16-year-old boy from South India. I actually saw some of his videos, not particularly this one, I just heard it from someone else. Last year, March, 2019 March, he actually predicted what is happening today. He said, November onwards, there will be massive disease, epidemic will spread all over the world. The businesses will collapse, economy will crumble. And he said that the worst hit will be the aviation industry, the airlines. And we are seeing that. When the travel stops, they're finished. Now see, and how could he predict it? Just a 16-year-old boy. He's a brilliant boy, actually. He predicted. How could he predict it? From the astrology. He is really into the Vedic studies of the Vedic scriptures. And it seems that somehow or other he or his parents have been affected by Srila Prabhupada's teachings. He doesn't say that he is from ISKCON, but it's clear. He uses the expression Supreme Personality of Godhead, and so forth. So where is he getting this understanding? But of course, he is a brilliant character. Anyway, so whenever we come to speak, this is always at the back of my mind, what's happening to the world today and how all of you are becoming affected. So I automatically get into discussing about this. But don't worry. Krishna will protect. And whatever is happening is for the benefit of this world. The sinful reactions are coming out. So as a result of that, the sinful reactions will come out, and the world situation, after a little turmoil, will get better. And probably after this, preaching will become more effective. The world will become more open, more receptive to Krishna consciousness. And who has the knowledge? Who has the right knowledge? ISKCON has the right knowledge. And Prabhupada's books are the basis of that knowledge. And Prabhupada's devotees, those who have been indoctrinated by Prabhupada's teachings, they are the wisest people in this world. They can give the right understanding. All the people, those who are going, most of the people, those who are speaking about spirituality, like they don't have any knowledge at all. They may be good speakers, many of them are here, impressive speakers. And their speech actually, their way of speaking attracts people. But their presentation is devoid of any substance. They don't speak about God. They don't speak about the spiritual reality. They don't speak about the soul. They don't speak about rebirth. They don't speak about karmic reactions. Because they themselves do not know. Just some word jugglery, and that impresses people. But that's not going to benefit anybody. What's really going to benefit is what is there in Srila Prabhupada's books. That knowledge is really going to benefit this world. And hundreds of millions of books have gone out. We simply have to tell them, just read the books that you have in your house. These books must be sitting there. And Prabhupada used to say that these are the time bombs. These books are the time bombs. They're time bombs, and they're sitting there, and they'll explode. And what will that explosion do? That explosion will open up the spiritual sky. That explosion is not going to be destructive. That explosion is going to be the most constructive explosion. The spiritual sky will open up. People will get the information about the spiritual sky. People will understand the ultimate goal of life. People will understand who the Supreme Personality of Godhead is and what's the benefit of surrendering unto Him. So personally, I feel all that is happening is ultimately going to be very, very auspicious. Just as sometimes a storm comes and drives away all the dirt and dust. All the impurities are washed, blown away. And after the storm comes rain. And the rain purifies the whole atmosphere. And after the rain comes beautiful golden sunshine. So that is what's going to happen to this world. We are going through the storm, and there is some disturbance. And after the storm, there will be rain. The rain will purify the whole atmosphere. And after the rain will be sunshine. The sunshine after the rain is so pure, so beautiful, so bright. And the sky will become devoid of all dust and dirt. Pure blue sky with a little scattered cotton-like clouds flying and the golden sunshine. So let's wait, let's go through whatever is happening. Whether we'll see that golden sunshine in our life or not doesn't matter. It will happen. It will happen to this world, and we want auspiciousness in this world. Our prayer is Sarve Shukhina Bhavantu. Let everybody become happy. Whether we suffer doesn't matter. Let the whole world become happy. And Krishna is acting through his mother nature, Krishna is acting through the demigods, and the demoniac influence will go. And the divinity will prevail all over the world. So let's go back now to Uddhava Gita. Here we have to understand, when you're discussing Uddhava Gita, when Krishna is instructing Uddhava, the situation was much worse than what you're facing today. You can't imagine how difficult that situation was. Especially for Uddhava. Uddhava knew all his family members are going to die. His city, the whole city of Dwarka, a majestic city, beyond our imagination, how beautiful and how opulent it was. The whole city will disappear within 7 days. All the Jadus, along with Krishna, they will go to Prabhash Tirtha. They'll take shelter of Prabhash Tirtha. But there, they will kill each other and go back to Godhead. That is Krishna's arrangement. The Leela, the drama. Jadus are fighting with each other and they're killing. How they're fighting? They're fighting with seaweeds. The personalities who are not even affected by thunderbolt, Vajra, they are using seaweeds. With the seaweeds they're fighting and they kill each other. So this is how wonderful Krishna's pastimes is. If the children fight with each other, with even sticks, do they kill each other? No, and these are the powerful warriors fighting not even with sticks. They were in the river bank, and on the river bank there was these weeds that grow. These seaweeds are empty, hollow inside. You press it with your finger, it smashes. So they picked that up and they started to fight with each other. But the reality at that time was Uddhava is going to lose everybody, and Krishna is telling that Uddhava, you stay on. It had been, Uddhava wanted to go back to the spiritual world with Krishna, but Krishna wanted him to stay. And at that time when Uddhava's heart is so pained, he is feeling so depressed, he is feeling so agonized, Krishna is giving him the advice. What is the advice? The bottom line of the advice is, understand the nature of the soul. That's all that he is talking about. Through various examples, this is the bottom line of the understanding. The nature of the soul, and become situated in that. Do not become affected by this physical body, material body. Don't identify with your body. Transcend the bodily platform. Come to your spiritual identity. And when you become situated in the spiritual identity, you do not become affected by anything. And what we learned, what did you see? The other 2 days classes, other two sessions actually. Become like earth and tolerate. The difficulties will be there, just tolerate. That's what he learned from the earth. And not only tolerate, try to benefit others. Even they're harming you, still you benefit them. That is the nature of a saintly person. And then from wind, Whatever you go through, whatever the body goes through, don't become affected by that. Remain unaffected. Just as the wind carries various, whatever the surrounding is offering, wind is carrying that. If the air is dirty, wind is carrying the dirt. If the atmosphere is aromatic, wind is carrying that aroma. If the atmosphere is pleasant, wind is carrying that pleasantness. It's just carrying, but wind itself is not affected by that. Another thing is the internal air, life air. It's continuous function of the body without being affected by the body. Somebody is committing some very heinous activity. Air inside is functioning, prana is the life air is not being affected, what the body is doing. So another example, don't be affected even by the activities of the body, because the body is functioning according to the karmic reactions. Body is functioning like a puppet, is dancing, going through different activities. That is due to karmic reactions. The demigods are controlling. Just like a puppeteer makes a puppet dance, similarly, we all are dancing. The body is dancing according to that. But the person, the soul, or the life air is not affected by that. The soul is not affected by that. So stand aside. Whatever the body is doing, don't be affected by that. The body is doing things according to its past arrangement. The subtle body is the product of our karmic reactions, and accordingly it is happening. So, and now it's coming to the sky, ether, sky. What is sky? Sky is the space. Space. That is the fifth element. It's there everywhere. And everyone is situated in there, in that sky. That's the very basis of existence in the material nature. The space. That is how we have to understand the sky. And yes, we are seeing also, it's the space is there, like the blue sky is depicted by that. That sky is depicted by that blueness. But here also it's spread everywhere. Here is sky also, ether is there. And actually the sound is coming from ether. The basis of sound is ether. Basis of touch is air. Basis of fire is form. So, this is how we are seeing our sense perceptions are reacting to different elements of this world. So sky, the nature of this, what did Avadhuta learn from the sky? A thoughtful sage, even while living within a material body, should understand himself to be pure spirit soul. Yes. Who is really wise? What is the real wisdom? The real wisdom is that although the living entity is living within a material body, but he realizes himself to be pure spirit soul. So that is how we have to, that's the thing that we all have to understand. Prabhupada time and time again pointed out, we are not this body, we are a soul. So this is the knowledge that we are cultivating, and this knowledge will eventually have to become a realization. We have to realize it. Not just theoretically, I am not this body, I am a soul, I am a spirit soul. Good theoretical knowledge is good, but we have to transcend that theoretical platform and come to the realization platform. That means at that time, I am not at all this body, I am a pure spirit soul. Whatever happens to the body doesn't affect me. Now, how does it happen? Only when the consciousness is projected onto Krishna, we can transcend the bodily platform. Or when we are in total ignorance, like when you are fast asleep, we are not aware of this body. But that position is transcendental to the body, not unconsciousness of the body, but transcending the body consciousness by Krishna consciousness. A thoughtful sage, even while living within a material body, should understand himself to be pure spirit soul. Similarly, one should see that the spirit soul enters within all forms of life, both moving and non-moving, and that the individual souls are thus all-pervading. The sage should further observe that the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the Supersoul is simultaneously present within all things. Both the individual soul and the Supersoul can be understood by comparing them to the nature of the sky. Both the individual soul and the Supersoul can be understood by comparing them to the nature of the sky. Although the sky extends everywhere and everything rests within the sky does not mix with anything, nor can it be divided by anything. So nature of the sky does not mix with anything, and the sky is not divided by anything. We cannot divide the sky. Sky is always there, undivided, everywhere, permeating everything. Similarly, the nature of the soul. Soul is within everything, and the soul, the super soul, is undivided. Two souls are existing in one body, spirit soul, super soul. The spirit soul is the doer, and the super soul is the witness, standing there, watching. So this is how we have to recognize the presence of the spirit soul and super soul. And at some point it also has been presented before actually. Krishna is telling Uddhava that how this material nature actually is Krishna's illusory energy, and it is, this whole world is actually within the soul. Whatever you're experiencing is within the soul. Just like a dream. Where is the dream? I'm seeing the dream. Is the dream outside? To me it seems like it's outside, but it's in me. Of course there's a little difference, our dream and this material nature. Our dreams are individual. My dream only I can experience. But here, we all, those who are here present, are experiencing. This is the projection of Mahavishnu's dream. So whoever is present at certain space and time, he will experience the same thing. Anyway, these are the very deep and profound spiritual understanding. It will happen as we make advancement. These realizations will come in us. So, the next verse, text 43. Although the mighty wind blows clouds and storms across the sky is never implicated or affected by these activities. Similarly, the spirit soul is not affected. The spirit soul is not actually changed or affected by contact with the material nature. Although the living entity enters within the body made of earth, water, and fire, and although he is impelled by the three modes of nature created by the eternal time, his eternal spiritual nature is never actually affected. Another very wonderful understanding. The soul is not affected. Just as the mighty wind blows clouds and storms across the sky is not implicated or affected by these activities. So whatever is happening, there's a tremendous storm. There is all kinds of things are blowing. Wind is blowing everything here and there. Cloud is blowing. Wind is blowing the clouds, but space or ether, sky is unaffected. It's happening in him, but it is not affected by that. Similarly, the soul should not become affected. Soul doesn't become affected only the consciousness becomes affected, because the consciousness is now projected through this material body. Therefore, consciousness gets affected. Something happens to the body, consciousness gets affected. Oh, it's happening to me. But the soul is not affected. Soul is beyond all that. It's the consciousness that's being affected because the consciousness is flowing through the body. So as if the wind is making everything fly, and the wind is making these things happening, and due to the wind it seems that they are happening, but the sky is not affected by that. Other things are being affected. There's a storm and all kinds of things are blowing in the storm. The trees are crumbling, houses are falling, different objects are being flown. All these things are happening, but the sky is unaffected. Wind is affecting, objects are being affected, but the sky is unaffected. Similarly, whatever is happening in the body, the consciousness is affecting, body is affecting, surrounding is being affected, but the soul is standing there, unaffected by all that material happening, because it is happening in another dimension. I'll read again. Although the mighty wind blows clouds and storm across the sky is never implicated or affected by these activities. Similarly, the spirit soul is not actually changed or affected by contact with the material nature. Although the living entity enters within a body made of earth, although the living entity, meaning the soul, enters within a body made of earth, water, and fire, and although he is impelled by the three modes of nature, created by eternal time, his eternal spiritual nature is never actually affected. The spiritual nature of the spirit soul is not affected. Another example, if we look at a dream, same way. A person is lying in bed and he is dreaming. He is dreaming so many things. Like he has become a king, he is ruling his kingdom, sitting on a throne, living in a palace. And then all of a sudden the enemies attack and he is fighting with his soldiers, with their enemies. All these things are going on. But the person is just lying in bed. He is not affected. When he wakes up, he sees that it's just a dream. Similarly, the soul is not affected by all that is happening in the bodily platform. So in this way we can see that how it's like a dream. The soul is not affected. Although the sky appears to be affected by the mighty movements of wind, rain, hurricane, lightning and thunder, etc., the sky being very subtle is actually not affected, but is rather the background for such visible activities. The soul is the background for such visible activities. Similarly, although the material body and mind undergo innumerable changes, such as birth and death, happiness and distress, love and hate, the eternal living entity is merely the background for such activities. Right? So do you see the similarity? The body is lying, sleeping, and he is dreaming. The dreams are going on, and the dream is affecting him. Like when the enemy is attacking, he is worried, he is afraid. But the body is just lying there, unaffected by the dream. Similarly, whatever is happening in this world, the soul is the background. Just for a dream, the body is the background. So here the soul is the background of whatever is happening in this material nature. The soul doesn't become affected. The spirit soul, being most subtle, is not actually affected. Only due to misidentification with the superficial activities of the body and mind does the soul undergo terrible distress within the material world. Because he identifies himself with the body and the mind, he goes through these difficulties and distress. Thank you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So I can just take a few questions. Okay, this question is from Krishna Arjun Das from London, UK. Guru Maharaj, yesterday we actually finished and these two questions were there, I couldn't answer them. So I hope you are there, Krishna Arjun, listening. Guru Maharaj, you began yesterday's class talking about society's lack of gratitude and exploitative attitude towards Mother Earth. Would Guru Maharaj agree that the current situation is a direct result of this exploitation? Also, while devotees are trying to adopt a simpler approach of life, what more can we do to expedite a wider transformation in society to avoid such a calamity occurring again? Should our preaching focus change now and moving forward? Yes, Krishna Arjun, I think at the beginning of the class, I kind of dealt with this question. Yes, whatever is happening is due to the karmic reactions. The way people had been acting, now the inevitable result is manifesting. And now what should be our role so that such a thing doesn't happen again. What should be our role? Yes, our role is to educate people. And that is the meaning of preaching. Preaching means to educate people. The knowledge that we have acquired, we impart that knowledge to others. And that is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Amar aggai guru hoiya taro ei desh. That is the role of a guru. Guru is a teacher. And whoever teaches is a guru. And who can teach? The one who has the knowledge. Upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshina. Because he has the knowledge, therefore he can impart the knowledge. Krishnajan, if you are there, just send me your phone number also. I was thinking of speaking to you. Next is Amrita Vilasini Dasi. Guru Maharaj, you said the internal air of the body never gets affected, but I heard that the disease in the body, according to Ayurveda, is due to disturbance of air in the body. How to understand it? Yes, good question, Amrita Vilasini. So the point actually is, the air does get affected, or the body gets affected by the air. Like there are in the Ayurvedic understanding, or what Ayurveda deals with, is 5 kinds of air: prana, apana, samana, vana, and udana. They are actually performing different activities of the body. And when there is some imbalance in the air, dysfunction of the air, then the body becomes diseased. But here the point actually is that we are breathing, say for example, we are breathing. Now, the breathing is not being affected by our activities. The prana is performing his activity by breathing in and out. Whether the body is functioning as a criminal, whether the body is functioning as a saint, whether the body is functioning as a king, whether the body is functioning as a pauper, whether the body is functioning as an animal, or the body is functioning as an insect, the prana is continuing the function, unaffected by those activities of the body. So that is the point, that this point came here. That's the point that came here. Now, I hope it is clear, my answer, but if not, Amrita Vilasini, feel free to ask me, or anyone. If you feel that the answer was not covering the proper understanding, then please feel free to ask me. I'll be happy to clarify. Then Trikalagya from Vrindavan. Thank you for giving such a nice glorification of Rameshwar Prabhu. This is from yesterday also. Trikalagya Prabhu, I hope you are also watching today. I'm sorry I couldn't answer your question yesterday. Thank you for giving such nice glorification of Rameshwar Prabhu. When the Manor campaign started, we were very closely working together. Yes, Trikalagya Prabhu is actually from London. And so his question is, when such devotees are taken away by Krishna in this manner, what is it that Krishna is trying to tell us? And how do we understand this happening to a devotee? What lesson do we learn, and how should we be acting? Yes, from our perspective, things may appear to be in a certain way, but we have to understand, behind everything, Krishna has his divine arrangement. In that respect, we can give an example of the way Abhimanyu was killed by 7 Maharathis in the Battle of Kurukshetra. Just a 16-year-old boy. That was the day he just completed his 16th year. It was his birthday, actually. And he got the assurance that everybody said, okay, you just go in and we'll come and give you the support. But that day Jayadratha had the benediction from Lord Shiva that nobody will be able to defeat him that day. So Jayadratha was guarding the gate, guarding the entrance of that Chakravyuha. And Abhimanyu went in alone. No one else could come in. And Abhimanyu was fighting alone. Nobody. Can you imagine, right in the middle of such a huge army, fighting alone against all these great warriors? Bhishma, Drona, Kripa, Karna, Ashwatthama. Alone he is fighting, they can't defeat him. Then finally, they unarmed, disarmed him, unarmed, cut his weapon. He doesn't have a weapon. He picked up a chariot, wheel of a broken chariot, and fighting with that. Still they cannot defeat. They cut that, and when he didn't have anything, he was killed. I mean, from our perspective, it's such a terrible thing to happen to such a wonderful personality. But behind that we see when the demigods were asked to come and take part in Krishna's pastimes on the earth planet. Different demigods were meant to come. Somdev was asked to send his son, but he was very dear to his son. His son was very dear to him. So he was resisting, no, I can't, he's too dear to me, I can't let him go to the earth planet. Then finally he agreed that, okay, only for 16 days. And a demigod's one day is our 1 year. And that day the 16th day was over, he had to go back to the heavenly planet. So similarly, just by seeing whatever is happening with our external perception, we cannot understand Krishna's divine arrangement. So Jadurani Devidasi from UK. Guru Maharaj, I wanted to ask about the sky. Is it blue because Krishna's skin blue color? Well, Krishna's color is not material. Prabhupada said they can be compared to material color, but Krishna's color is transcendental. So we do not know what Krishna's color is like. Maybe it's akin to the blue, close to the blue color. But what kind of blue we do not know. Sometimes it's compared to the monsoon cloud. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur mentioned that it's blue like the Aparajita flower. And so let us not consider Krishna's attributes with any material thing or material. Like sometimes people speculate things like that, but we have to understand that unless and until we see Krishna, we won't understand what his color is like. What if we imagine that Krishna's color is like the blue of the sky? But when you see Krishna, then you see that, oh, it's not that like that. Or if we imagine it's like this color, and then we won't be able to see Krishna really, in reality. because we have developed some other kind of impression about Krishna. So better, let's wait till we develop our spiritual vision, and with that spiritual vision, we'll be able to see the actual color of Krishna. Now this is the last question I'll answer. How to fully surrender to Gurudev? What is the procedure? I want to know if there is anything more pleasing to Krishna than serving and fully surrendering to one's Gurudev. Nitya Krishna Das, New Jersey, USA. Well, how to surrender to your spiritual master? We are singing that every day. Guru Mukho Padmo Vakya Chittete Koriya Oiko Arana Koriho Mone Asha. The Gurudev is giving spiritual guidance. So let the spiritual guidance be our life and soul. Chittete Koriya Oiko. In our heart, that should be the only consideration. Shri Guru Charane Roti, Eishe Uttama Goti, Je Prasade Pure Sarvo Asha. And in this way, when we surrender unto the spiritual master, then all our desires become fulfilled. And why should we surrender to Gurudev? Because Gurudev is an agent of Krishna, representative of Krishna. Krishna says, if you want to do something for me, then do it through him. And what does a bona fide spiritual master do? Whatever you're offering to him, he offers it to Krishna. So that's why the spiritual master becomes the representative of Krishna, and whatever one does to the spiritual master, Krishna accepts that as his offering, as he receives it as an offering to him. Thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Here is an announcement from His Holiness Lokanath Maharaj. I'll read it out to you. He is actually proposing a global non-stop Sankirtan Yajna. A global non-stop Sankirtan Yajna from your home. So I think it's a very nice proposal, very nice suggestion. So I'll read it out. Dear devotees, Pamho AGTSP, ISKCON Harinam Sankirtan Ministry is happy to announce global non-stop Sankirtan Yajna from your home. Let's join hands, mridangas and kartals, every day in each respective time zone for 1 month. This means that in some part of the world at any given time, chanting is going on. 5 p.m. to 5:15 p.m. minimum. More is welcome. March 25th till April 25th. He is sending it on 29th. I think there is a little mistake. So maybe it should be from April 1st to May 1st. I'll send it to Lokanath Maharaj. This. We humbly appeal to everyone to go out on your terrace, courtyard, rooftop, or welcome and perform Kirtan worldwide. Please pass this message on to your near and dear ones. Let us inspire everyone to participate in large numbers. Let us chant and pray together. Prayers are powerful. The doctor's care and the devotee's prayer is the cure for sure. Let us do our part. This congregational chanting will be a priceless contribution to us protecting humanity from the coronavirus pandemic crisis. You simply like and share will help us spread the world around. Okay, so he's suggesting just for 15 minutes, wherever you are. I think it would be better to make it at some time zone at different areas. So I will propose that to Loknath Maharaj. Say, for example, say 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock. Or maybe, no, better will be something like 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock, 1 hour. So when it is in, or maybe half an hour we can do it. Say 12 o'clock to 12:30. So when it is 12:30 in the next time zone, it will be 12 o'clock. Then in this way, we can just go. Like India, there's a problem with India, like hourly time zone is not there. India is halfway. Like practically all the world in the country is one specific hour, but India is half an hour. Half an hour different from Pakistan, 1.5 hours different from Afghanistan, 2.5 hours difference from Istanbul, and so forth. I think that is one idea, because then only it will be non-stop. Every zone, every time zone, there will be 12 o'clock in India, next zone is 1 o'clock. In India, 12 o'clock in the next zone. In this way, it will just go on. Okay, thank you. Let's see. Maybe in India we can divide it like eastern part of India up to Madhya Pradesh, and western part of India. Half an hour here, eastern part, half an hour western part. So that way it will cover 1 hour. Bangladesh to Calcutta, half an hour difference, and Bangladesh to Bombay will become 1 hour difference.